Okay, we're in Palatka still. We're at the St. Mark's Episcopal Church. The services for the Episcopal Church began in 1846, and this church was built in the 1850s, 1854. During the war, this area was occupied for a time by federal troops, and this was used as a barracks for them. This is an incredible old structure. I'm not sure what architectural style it is, but it's pretty amazing. The steep roofs. They called it Georgian, maybe, something like that. I forget. There's people that know a lot more about that stuff than I do. And I'm more interested. I just like the look of it. And the history behind it. Now, this block consists of 3 buildings in this area, in this little strip right here. We have the church, the academy, and further down beyond that, the rectory. I'm going too fast, I think, here. Here we have the back end. I'd love to be able to get in there and take a look at the sanctuary. I think that's pretty ornate. Cool. All of these buildings, of course, have undergone some sort of reconstruction, restoration. In this case, in order to keep this tower up, I don't know what they call it. I'm sure there's some kind of word for it. It's about a good 3 or 4 stories high. But some along the way, not too, pretty recently, has shored it up here, braced it with these big, huge 3x6s, 3x8s. I don't know, they're big old things. Solid as heck, obviously. And big, huge concrete stanchions. Very cool. That's the church, and now we're going to walk down here and take a look at the academy. I'm assuming it's some sort of Academy of Divinity. Don't know for sure. That was a surprise for me. I didn't know that this was even here. I read about the church. It's one of the more significant historic structures in Palatka. And but I didn't know about this. It's all part of it. Pretty cool building. This was built in the 80s. And as you can see, it needs some work, needs some paint. This is now called Parish Hall. I don't know the history as far as back in the day, if it would have held if people would have lived here or not. Imagine there weren't that many people that were schooled here at one time. It's now a parish hall and a home for the local Boy Scout troop. We have two chimneys and a 3rd story here, which probably was an addition. We don't know for sure. It may have been part of it, maybe a tower of some sort. Towers are very handy back in the day for seeing long distances. Before cell phones and radar and everything. You can see, we're probably, I don't know, 20, 30 miles maybe from the Atlantic here. We're literally on the banks of the St. John's. I can walk down one of these streets and see the river from here. We're blocks away from the river. Incredible. Incredible location and an old Florida settlement. So we're going to go over to the back end of the Rectory. Classic Florida construction, lots of windows up off the ground. Clapboard house. It would have had it would have been lathed slathered plaster. I don't know the correct term for it, but there would have been lathe put up and slats, and then just buckets of plaster. There was no drywall back in those days. Buckets of plaster would have been just troweled on there, and that would have been the entirety of it. And that would have been excellent insulation. I read, or I heard somebody say in one of these other houses we went to further south, that they kept fires burning all the time to absorb the moisture from the humidity in the air, which is extremely smart. But anyway, so that's our three building tour along this side of the block. We're going to go over to the Mulholland, Bronson Mulholland house now and check that out.